Hi, everybody, and welcome back. It's Monday, obviously. Man, is it Monday. Hope everyone enjoyed and had a wonderful and safe holiday weekend. Indeed, I know that's not the case for everyone, but nevertheless, our sentiments as we join you this evening and start the countdown now. We'll go into it easy, and we'll start counting down the end of November before we start counting down to something else. And that's pretty simple math. Today's the 27th day, and this 11th month comes to an end on this Thursday. We'll be talking about, of course, a lot of holiday events and a lot of things, of course, as we go through that time. But tonight, we will be catching up. A couple of updates going back to before I left you for the Thanksgiving holiday. That being an update on the man who set fire to the Allen Drive apartments. Also, as I couldn't release at the hour I was with you, the name of the woman, the McGoffin County woman who was killed in that terrible car crash on last Wednesday. Moving on to other news, a threat that was perceived to possibly be aimed towards the McGoffin County High School was addressed today by the superintendent of schools. Most parents made well aware by one call that they received. I'll hear, and you will as well, from Scott Helton in just a few moments, and he can tell us exactly what happened and how it was clarified rather quickly, how McGoffin County was not necessarily involved. We'll also go on to some other news. McGoffin County Sheriff's Department arresting 2 local men for the theft of a tractor and attachments over the course of the holiday, literally tracing it as it left by its marks it left on the roadway and in the gravel until they found it abandoned in a wooded area. I've also got some sporting news to pass along to you tonight in girls basketball and football, and a lot of other news and information. Let's talk about your weather real quickly before we go anywhere else. It's going to be beautiful. It's not going to feel like the end of November or the 1st of December, at least on average. And it's also not going to feel like it did on today's date in our weather history just a few short years ago. On the 26th and 27th of 2013, it was a pretty rare winter storm that rolled through much of eastern Kentucky. And depending on where you were, you saw anywhere from a couple of tenths of an inch to 5 inches of snow on today's date. The 5 inches in the upper elevations near the Virginia border. But we here in McGoffin County picked up about 9/10 of an inch. And, of course, that wasn't what it was like today. And, in fact, tomorrow we've got the mid-60s in store thanks to some high pressure giving us dry and mild conditions. A cold front before the end of your work week will change things up, but not drastically and not permanently either. I'll tell you more about that in just a few seconds. You may have noticed today a couple of significant changes, even from taking Andrew to school and from picking him up only 2 times out of the studio. An obvious change. The new intersection was partially opened. It's completely being used now in the same fashion as the old one, where you go by the Catholic Church and get onto the Mountain Parkway or take a left towards Restaurant Row. There's still some more, as you know. You can see the lanes that allow you to veer off, but right now the main intersection in and of itself is open, and it cannot be missed. Now, to be open later on this week, I think it was to open today, the new Mountain Parkway Bridge. If it didn't by tomorrow, I didn't take a right, but that new Mountain Parkway Bridge also to be open. It was scheduled to be open this morning, and if you turn to the left from that new intersection that's established, you will notice that they have another traffic lane change on up towards the BP, where they're laying the pavement for the widening project. It's starting to happen rather quickly. So basically on a daily basis, they give us good warnings and information, but traffic changes, lane changes are going to be a frequent occurrence now until the project is over. So keep that in mind. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later on. Now, before we get to our most current news, let's back up into late last week, or midweek, for a couple of updates. The first being a court appearance of the man, a resident of the Allen Drive apartments, who admitted to authorities that he set fire to his own apartment. He has remained jailed since in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center and was in court in McGoffin County this morning. James Fletcher of Allen Drive was found highly intoxicated and under the influence and admitted to authorities to a day of drinking and taking pills. While behind him and police and firemen, his residence was engulfed in flames. Of course, as we told you, residents of Allen Drive were displaced for some days, some a little longer than that, after smoke, fire, water damage was sustained to other units. Fletcher was lodged in the Big Sandy jail that night on charges of public intoxication of a controlled substance, arson in the 3rd degree, disorderly conduct in the 2nd, and menacing by Sangersville police officer Mike Nichols, who later the following day sought additional charges of wanton endangerment, that being 5 counts, and charges of trafficking in a controlled substance for events that also Fletcher admitted to that day. And Fletcher remains jailed at this hour after being returned to the Big Sandy jail. But in court this morning in the Magoffin County Justice Center, a mental evaluation was ordered, and his case has now been reset for December the 11th, after I believe that evaluation is to take place, with a report coming back to the judge and to be assessed the day of his next hearing. Once again, December the 11th. As I left you for the end of Wednesday's program for the holiday break, we had the identity, we believed, of the woman, the Magoffin County woman who was tragically killed in a two-car near or practically head-on crash on Route 40 earlier that afternoon. However, we were still waiting confirmation, and authorities were still trying to seek all of her family before releasing that information. It was released, however, just hours thereafter by Magoffin County coroner that a local woman did indeed die in that crash, which is still under investigation as for the actual cause of which. But nevertheless, Melissa Brown will be laid to rest tomorrow following that accident. That was back earlier on Wednesday of last week, the day before Thanksgiving, when, as I told you then, and I still believe, that Melissa Allen Brown was on her way to pick up her husband, who had been released from the hospital in Paintsville after being involved in a much less serious, obviously, accident than his wife was. She collided head-on with a work truck, a pickup truck seen here on Route 40, about 4 miles out of Sagersville. She was alive and responsive upon the initial arrival of emergency personnel and neighbors in the area, but her condition worsened on scene. She was airlifted to a trauma center thereafter, where she was sadly pronounced dead. The 54-year-old woman who resided on Burton Branch here in Magoffin County will be laid to rest tomorrow. Visitation continues this evening at the Sagersville Funeral Home. I have a complete list of arrangements that have been made in her honor on our obituaries in just a few moments. For now, I'll be right back after a few words from a few of our sponsors. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. On the heels of a potential threat for the Magoffin County High School just weeks ago that involved a local student that I covered, of course, in depth, another situation for the Magoffin County school system, specifically the Magoffin County High School earlier today. However, it was quickly resolved. Superintendent of Schools Scott Helton tells me in this telephone interview taken just a few moments ago that he received word this afternoon, just before classes were to be let out, of a threat that mentioned MCHS, but it also contained other details therein that he says allowed him to quickly determine that it was not a reference to the Magoffin County High School. Superintendent Scott Helton asked us to further clarify the matter, saying that earlier this morning an assistant principal from another school says that a parent had showed him a post made on social media about a threat, as it says here, to MCHS, saying the day will be random and there will be no stopping it, and anyone who tries to stop it will die. Anyone who comes to Central, it added, will be shot, saying it wasn't a joke or a prank. And it was when Scott Helton says he read Central that he realized it didn't involve Magoffin County.
Possibly targeted. When I got that, I read the message and trying to figure out that Central didn't relate to Magoffin County, so my first inkling was to call the superintendent in Madison County, because Madison Central makes a lot more sense than Magoffin County. Upon speaking with the superintendent of the district, as soon as I talked with him, he said, "It's us." He said that they had dealt with the situation and resolved the situation, so that's great to hear. But upon finding that out, and I can understand some confusion where it says MCHS, we went ahead and put out a one call to all of our parents explaining what had happened within the first 15 minutes of finding this out, and then we pasted on social media on our school web page and our school Facebook page and the district web page. So it's on the high school web page, our district web page, and on the social media, plus the one call, just to kind of keep everybody informed. And it's becoming more prevalent lately of these threats going on, and it's something that we try to deal with, and I hope there's no confusion in the statement that was let out. I wanted everybody to understand that McGoffin County was not the target of this threat, but that we had dealt with it, and I wanted them to be at ease. The threat was for Friday coming up, so but the school that it was targeting has dealt with it, and they've got the situation under control.
Moving on, the McGoffin County Sheriff's Department took little time in solving a theft case, charging 2 local men and recovering a stolen tractor and its implements worth thousands and thousands of dollars after John R. Salyer of Salyer Trucking on Route 7 reported the theft early Friday morning around 10:30. Sheriff Carson Montgomery says he and members of his department were able to go to the scene where the tractor was stolen from, and from there literally track it, seeing the marks either left behind on the blacktop or on the gravel trail and roads, leading them exactly to where it was.
He'd had a Kubota tractor stolen off his lot around 7 o'clock that morning, and he had some video. I called Deputy Gosler and Holbrook, and we viewed the video and went to following up leads. And actually, we could follow the tractor where they drove it on the trail. It had been up right-hand fork of Oakley. There I was able to find the forks that was attached to the tractor. They had tucked them off, and a finish mower at a residence on right-hand fork of Oakley. Homeowner advised me he hadn't talked to him by that morning, didn't know how they got there, so we followed the tractor on the trail again, B-tree, and then we just kept checking. Finally, we were able to locate it on B-tree up on the hill close to a cemetery.
And after finding it just as you see here, about 1,000 feet off of the beaten path, so to speak, the sheriff contacted the owner, John Salyer. He came with a key, and they drove it from there back to Oakley, back to the residence where they found the 2 other implements or attachments. They put those back on the tractor, and the owner was able to return home, while the sheriff's department got 2 arrest warrants in the name of the men seen in surveillance video, just a portion of which we'll show you here. But altogether, the video showed the men pulling onto the lot, one getting out of the car, assessing the situation and surroundings. The car leaves a few minutes later, and one of the other individuals comes walking onto the lot, running onto the lot, and then getting onto the tractor, and then traveling south on Route 7 before abandoning it in the woods. After questioning David Conley, they arrested Conley on a charge of theft by unlawful taking, an amount at over $10,000 but less than $1 million for stealing the farm equipment. The 32-year-old man from Sagersville was later joined in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center by his accomplice, 29-year-old Chase Patrick. Patrick was actually picked up by Paintsville police a few hours later than Conley. He was actually said to have been in Walmart and was said to be causing a disturbance, acting in a disorderly fashion with employees in the presence of a member of the Paintsville Police Department who happened to be there at the time. And after he intervened and ran Patrick's identification, he was alerted to the McGoffin County theft warrants that had been in effect for less than 2 hours. And the Paintsville police officer arrested him for the McGoffin County charges, as well as in addition charging him for disorderly conduct for the incident in Walmart. Patrick, too, being charged with theft by unlawful taking over $10,000 and criminal trespassing for reportedly being at the residence of Joe Randall Minix, where Minix was the one who told the sheriff that he was unaware that the items or attachments for the tractor had been left there and that Patrick had no permission to be on his property. The Sheriff's Department also stresses that the investigation is ongoing and they suspect possible other arrests to take place. More headlines in a minute. Right now, tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau sponsored community calendar. I don't have them typed in. I've just got a few to pass along to you. They're all holiday related, and actually they all come from the McGoffin County Extension Service, so I'll go through them real quickly. Definitely the ones that are kind of close. Their holiday wreath workshop, which has been a very popular event since they started, is December the 1st. That's Friday. It's painful to say. It's a $10 registration fee, and that covers all your live greenery, the materials to come and make your wreath, and lunch while you're there as well. And you can drop by anytime Friday from 11 in the morning till 6 that afternoon and make your own wreath. A great idea, a great thing to involve the kids, the family. For more information or to register, because they need to know how many people are coming, call our extension office at 349-3216. Here's a good Christmas gift idea for you, and a great project for the family and kids as well, for anyone. Their Country Ham Project is getting ready to start. It's where you can learn about the history, process, and science of curing hams. You'll salt, cure, hang your own ham there on their grounds, and you'll come to 2 or 3 meetings over the course of the year. $40 per ham. Great gift idea, great for anyone of all ages. You have to register by December the 15th at the Extension Service. The Cattle Association, by the way, is having their annual Christmas Gala Thursday, December the 14th at the McGoffin County High School. A fundraiser, of course. They have planned a big chili dinner with all the fixings and hot fudge cake for dessert. I'll remind you about that as it gets closer on December the 14th. And the 4-H Holiday Fun Day. This is for students in 4th, 5th, and 6th grades in McGoffin County to come and enjoy the excitement of the holiday day camp. Lots of reindeer games, crafts, and fun. That's December the 19th. So again, I'll put that on the calendar and remind you later. But for other announcements tonight, here are this evening's funeral services as sponsored by the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Beginning with services which were held Sunday in honor of 37-year-old Ann Coffey, formerly of McGoffin County, the daughter of David Coffey and Kimberly Line. She's also survived by her husband, Todd Collins, son Mason McNew, and daughter Faith Mackenzie Adams. Services once again held yesterday. Betty Arnett Davis, 78 of Dixie Avenue, passed away on the 22nd. Surviving are sons Thomas and Russell Preston and daughters Elizabeth Looney and Haiti Wimmer. A memorial service, I'm told, is to be held in Betty's honor at a later date. The Sagersville Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. And 54-year-old Melissa Allen Brown of Burton Branch passed away on the 22nd, as I referred to earlier, survived by her parents Richard and Juanita Allen and her husband William Paul Brown. Visitation will continue this evening, and services will start tomorrow morning in her honor at 11. Visitation and services from the Sagersville Funeral Home, and the burial will follow services tomorrow at the Burton Fork Cemetery at the left-hand fork of Johnson. And we've also been told today of the passing of 79-year-old Shirley Marie Prater Robinette of Cripple Creek. She passed away on today's date, the wife of George Robinette. Arrangements incomplete at this time, to be announced soon by the McGoffin County Funeral Home, and that is Shirley Marie Prater Robinette. I'll be right back. Are you looking to visit or come home to Sagersville to relax, reconnect, or maybe ride the Dawkins Trail? Then you have to stay in our luxurious lofts over downtown that comfortably and conveniently accommodate parties of 1 to 10 with king beds, beautiful decor and furnishings, and walls adorned with the city's history. There's absolutely nowhere else like the Mortimer Lofts. Book directly through VRBO. Find them on Facebook at the Mortimer Lofts of Sagersville or call 606-349-3299. Morning news to pass along to you. First of all, we'll go back over the holiday break where it was a big night that they've experienced before for Johnson Central and the Golden Eagles, with a bigger one to follow this Saturday. That's defending champs making their third straight trip to the 4A state championship after Johnson Central made an easy go of Wayne County Friday night, 43-24, your final score in the state semifinals. So now the Golden Eagles of Central and Coach Matney will take on Franklin Simpson this Saturday, 4:30 in Lexington for the state title again. Now, there were some big plays that helped make all of this happen. In the first half, Central jumped out to a 22-3 lead. That was after a Blake Gamble 15-yard touchdown. Riley Priest had a 54-yard scoring run. And Seth Dalton's 34-yard reception touchdown, off of Riley Priest, of course, with seconds to go on the clock, made it all happen. Now, don't get me wrong, Wayne County did try to make a comeback in the second half, but it didn't work out. Your final score again, 43-24, as Central finds themselves in familiar and coveted territory this Saturday. And in hoops action, it was a game, well, she's the MVP. The former McGoffin County Lady Hornet took U-Pike with her game best 24 points from Jamie Castle. And Kayla Mullins helped with 14 as well. And Castle was named the tournament's most valuable player. Rachel Lee was named to the all-tournament team after a 78-67 U-Pike win over host Siena Heights in Friday's last championship round of the Thanksgiving Classic Tournament, I believe in Adrian, Michigan. U-Pike, now 6-4, held the Saints to 31.3% shooting while hitting 46.5% themselves, including a near-perfect 19 of 20 from the free throw line. The Bears return home tomorrow night at 6 o'clock against Thomas More at the Expo Center. Another big story from our own Jamie Castle and the rest of the Lady Bears at the University of Pikeville. Congratulations to all. And moving on to your Licking Valley RECC Outlook, I almost feel as I'm deserving of a congratulations for the weather forecast I'm about to lay on you. Almost. All I'm doing, I'm just the messenger pretty much who sticks his head out the window every now and then. Tonight, 25. It's going to be another cold one under clear skies, calm winds. But that was after we saw the 50s that are going to... Well, some folks got a 60 today, but tomorrow, better. 65 and sunny for your Tuesday, the 28th day of November. We're going to hold on to near 60 for midweek as well. Still nothing but mostly sunny skies above and a few clouds partly dotting the sky that night as well. Now, there is a cold front that comes, and it gets a little closer on Thursday. Later Thursday, that is. I think we're still going to see 60 degrees again and still partly sunny skies. Nighttime lows out ahead of this front are also going to be nice and mild at 38. And a 50% chance of showers, though. You'll notice Thursday, we could actually see those shower chances by afternoon hours, but I think we'll still see some sunshine and definitely see close to 60. Shower chances linger on during the overnight and leave. I'm not sure what happened to Friday and Saturday there. I've got Sunday and Monday. I've got the weather information correct. I just didn't bother to correct the days. Wow. Is it Monday after Thanksgiving? Must be the Monday after Thanksgiving. So let's pretend Sunday is really Friday's forecast as it is. And we'll see close to 50, I think, under mostly sunny skies. And then we'll go on to Saturday's forecast, which I think, again, mid-50s and more sunshine. No complaints here. Slight bump in the road. Thursday night into your Friday morning a little bit, but other than that, and I'm talking about over early morning hours, still darkness hours Friday. I think after that we'll see nothing but some cooler conditions, but a beautiful forecast and all that I tend to goof up, and I was congratulating myself. That's how it goes. And that's going to do it for tonight. I know that I have on tap the McGoffin County Fiscal Court, which will meet this week, McGoffin County Board of Education, several other governmental meetings, and to be honest with you, I think I've got a few I've got to roll back and get caught up on from last week just before the Thanksgiving holiday. So that and all the other news that you're only going to find here, all beginning tomorrow night. For now, thank you for being a part of this show, and we hope to see you back here for the next one. Good night.